Hello people, how are you? What's up? I hope you all are doing super amazing. Welcome back to our next lecture of corporate and economic laws. So people, we have finished until now two subchapters under SEBI regulations. Number one is how to raise finance from the capital markets, and number two is insider trading. Today we're going to begin with a new subchapter under SEBI regulations, and that is the takeover code. One of the most beautiful practical subchapters that you will ever come across in corporate and economic laws, people, right? So without wasting any time, people, let's get started with not the syllabus immediately. We are going to hear a story, small story, people. If you think that, sir, we want to quickly get into syllabus, you can fast forward this video by 15 minutes, people, right? So the reason why I tell you this stories, people, because I want you to fully understand practically as to what we are learning, how is it practically implemented in real life. I want you guys to know, and that's the reason, people, why I tell you story. Okay, so without wasting any time, let's get started with this story. So people, this story is about two companies called as HUL and GSK. We all have heard this company called as HUL, people. HUL is one of the largest FMCG companies in India that owns several big companies like Dove, Surf Excel, Lifebuoy, Lipton, and several other companies. Okay, so there is one more company called as GSK. Now you might say, sir, I have never heard this company called as GSK. But people, you have heard these two companies called as Horlicks and Boost. Horlicks and Boost. So people, Horlicks and Boost is owned by GSK. Okay, so people, HUL is into FMCG business and GSK is into food, health, drink business. But food, health, drink business is not its core business of GSK. Its core business, people, pharma and vaccine is its core business. The non-core business was food, health, drink business, in which they own two of the most profitable companies called as Horlicks and Boost. Okay, now people, in 2018 after demonetization happened, food, health, drink segment was growing at a rate of 9% every single year. Food, health, drink business was growing at a rate of 9% every single year. Okay, now people, HUL also wants to get hold of this food, health, drink segment. HUL also wants to get hold of food, health, drink business, but GSK wants to get rid of food, health, drink segment. Why, sir? Because they want to focus only on their core business, and that is pharma and vaccine. Okay, now people, you might say ki, why would HUL now acquire GSK's business? The reason is, people, the reason is GSK's okay, food, health, drink segment, food and health drink segment, the market size of food, health, drink segment is, people, 7,000 crores, which means what? There might be a number of companies that is contributing to 7,000 crores, but people 3,500 crores, that is 50% of the industry contribution, was alone done by only one company, and that is Horlicks. Okay, Horlicks spelling, one second, people. Yes, I'm correct. Horlicks. Okay, so Horlicks was alone contributing to 50% of the industry of food, health, drink segment. Now we know food, health, drink segment was growing at a rate of 9% per annum. So people, HUL thought of it as an amazing acquisition opportunity. So HUL acquired GSK's business. Do you know? Can you guess the amount? The amount was 31,700 crores. For 31,700 crores, HUL acquired GSK. Was it only because of Horlicks? No, people. There are more reasons to it. So the number one reason is food hedging segment was growing at a rate of 9% per annum. Okay. Number two reason is Horlicks alone was contributing to 3,500 crores. 50% alone was contributed by Horlicks. And number three is if HUL wants to build a distribution network, if HUL wants to start this food hedging segment from scratch, it had to incur a lot of expenditure. It has to incur a lot of expenditure. Now, how to define lot of expenditure? It is 800 to 1,000 crores HUL had to spend in to build a very, very strong distribution network. Fourth reason is GSK had a very, very strong distribution network, had a very, very strong supply chain in the rural areas, which HUL did not have. HUL did not have a strong access to rural areas, but GSK had a very, very strong distribution channel in rural areas. Now, sir, why is this important? People, if you have a very strong distribution network in rural areas, okay, if HUL wants to sell Dove, Surf Excel to rural areas, without a GSK, it won't be possible. But because of GSK's very, very strong distribution network, HUL would be very, very effortlessly, easily able to sell Surf Excel, Dove in the rural areas because of a very, very strong distribution network that is owned by GSK, right, people? So because of these four reasons, number one is food hedging segment was growing at a rate of 9% per annum. Number two is among those food hedging industry, Horlicks alone was contributing to 50%. And number three is if HUL wants to build a very strong distribution network, or it has to start from scratch food hedging business, it had to incur 1,000 crores every single year. And fourth reason is GSK had a very strong distribution network in rural areas, and these are the four reasons why HUL thought, why shouldn't I directly acquire GSK's business and add those things into my basket? I will also diversify I will also have FMCG companies in my basket. I will also have food hedging segment in my basket. Diversification, people. And this is the reason why people HUL paid how much? 31,700 crores to GSK. Now GSK used all this money to focus on its core business, that is pharma and vaccine, correct? Now the important question is, did HUL pay money to acquire the shares, or how did the acquisition took place? People, this is how the deal happened. HUL have to now acquire the shares of GSK, correct? Now it can be done either by paying money or it can be done otherwise. Now what is the meaning of otherwise? For every one share that HUL is acquiring of GSK, HUL is also giving back 4.39 shares of HUL to the shareholders of GSK. So this transaction have not taken place by using money. The transaction took place via swap ratio, swap of shares. So I want your shares, I want to acquire your shares. In consideration, in return I have to pay you money. So instead of paying you money, I will give you shares of my company itself. You take my company shares. So for every one share that I am acquiring of GSK, I had to give back 4.39 shares of HUL. Right, people? So this is how this complete takeover took place. Right, people? This is what we call it as takeover, acquisition. Okay. Now people, because of this, HUL's market cap rose beyond 4 lakh crores, making it one of the largest, making it India's largest FMCG company. Right, people? So this is how people takeover take place. This is the benefit of takeover. Cool, people? So this is an ideal case of a friendly takeover where both the companies wants to get into an agreement of acquiring another. Correct? This is called as friendly takeover. Consent has been taken place. We're going to understand what are types of takeover in this sub chapter. Beautiful chapter. Beautiful. You are going to love this chapter. Okay? Chalo. So now that you have understood what is the meaning of an acquirer, what is the meaning of a target company is GSK. Now let's begin with the definition part, so that if I want to explain any concept, I will use the HUL and GSK example. Okay. Amazing. So people, what are topics that we are going to cover? There are 15 topics. You don't have to worry about people. Beautiful, simple, super interesting topics. You are going to love it. Okay. So number one is people, we are going to start with the definition. So there are 12 definitions that we have to study. Very simple, short, crisp definition. Now the important question is, sir, why are we studying definition? Why can't we directly start learning the rules and regulation? The reason is people, in the rules and regulation, definition word will be used. Some terms will be used. If you don't know the applicability, if you don't know the meaning of those terms, you will never be able to understand the rules and regulation in accurate manner. And that's the reason why people, in the next 20 minutes, we are only going to cover the definition part. Okay? Chalo. Let's begin. So number one is, we're going to cover the definition of takeover. What is the meaning of substantial acquisition of shares? Substantial means a large portion of shares that we are going to acquire. What is the meaning of large? How do you define large? We're going to understand. Number three is, what is the meaning of an acquirer? What is the meaning of control? What is the meaning of frequently traded shares? What is the meaning of tendering period? What is the meaning of offer price? Next is, what is the meaning of identified date? Every single thing we are going to understand using HUL and GSK example. Next is, what is the meaning of an offer period? Then what is the meaning of persons acting in concert? Remember people, connected person, deemed to be connected person, very, very similar. Next is deemed persons acting in concert. Next is target company. Once we cover this definition part, then people, we are going to understand what are the types of takeover. There are 5 to 6 types of takeover. Beautiful concepts. Then people, we will understand if a company wants to acquire another company's shares, what are the rules it has to follow? What are rules it has to follow? We will understand, so that no public shareholder rights are getting violated. We'll understand. So first rule is requirement of an open offer. Next is, once you have made an open offer, after that, still if you want to acquire more shares, what are the additional rules you have to comply with? We'll understand. Next is people, after that, there are more additional rules. If you go on acquiring shares of a company, at one point of time when you hold 70-80% shares of a company, during that point, what are the provisions, what are the compliance requirements that you have to do? We'll understand in these additional rules. Okay. Next is people, voluntary open offer. Okay. Now, if a company is acquiring the shares of a company, it is very simple process, but SEBI tells you to do a particular act, and that is making an open offer. Okay. So company is not making an open offer voluntarily. Company is making an open offer because SEBI has told them. Otherwise, they would have secretly acquired the shares. Because SEBI have told them, they are acquiring the shares publicly. Right people? This is called as open offer. Now there is one more concept called as voluntary open offer. Company by themselves, they are making a voluntary open offer. We are going to understand. Okay. Next is, once you have made an open offer, can you withdraw that? What are the conditions you have to follow? You understand. And so on people. Like this, 15 topics are there. We will beautifully complete it in the best way possible. Cool people. So without wasting any time, let's get started with the definition part. Okay. Chalo. Number one. What is the meaning of a takeover? You know what is the meaning of takeover. HUL acquiring shares of GSK to own, to get the control of the company is called as a takeover. Let's understand. A takeover occurs when an acquirer, HUL, gains control over the target company GSK. HUL acquirer. But people over here, Acquirer includes a company or individual. HUL will include HUL, but HUL will also include the promoters of HUL. Let's say Tesla is acquiring Twitter. Tesla is a company. Tesla company can acquire. Elon Musk individual can also acquire Twitter. Every single thing will be considered as a takeover. Okay. This can involve buying a significant portion of the shares, buying a majority portion of shares. We're going to understand what is the meaning of significant. In the next definition, we'll understand. Significant means a huge portion of shares, or gaining control over the management. So people, even if you don't acquire the shares, how is it possible to gain control over that company? Still it is possible. If HUL has not paid any money to shareholders of GSK, but GSK's management, GSK's board members are acting as per the instructions of the board of directors of HUL, then people, it will still be categorized as acquisition. Jio's board of directors are acting as per the instructions given by Reliance. Okay. So if I don't acquire the shares of a company, but whatever I tell to the board of directors of the target company, they are accepting, they are agreeing to whatever I say, that means still it is called as an takeover. It is still called as a takeover. Very simple, people. Okay. Number 2 is substantial acquisition of shares. What is the meaning of substantial? Let's see. This refers to when an acquirer buys a substantial, means a large portion of shares or voting rights in the target company. HUL is purchasing a large portion of shares in GSK, which gives them significant influence over the company, which gives them, people, there's a difference between an influence and there's a difference between a control. Influence means I'm not controlling, but whatever I say has got an impact in the company. Whatever I say has got an impact in the company, that is called as influence. We are going to understand with a beautiful example. This is usually when the acquirer buys more than 25% of the company's shares or voting rights, leading to a significant influence on the company. So the moment you acquire 25% or more shares in a company, you have not gained control. Why? Because to gain control, you have to have more than 50% shares. But even though you are holding 25% shares in a company, still you will be called as a person who has got an impact over the company. That is called as substantial portion of shares. Okay. Let's understand this using an example. Okay. Let's take an example of Indigo Airlines. Example. Okay. So promoters are holding how many percentage of shares, people? Promoters are holding 49% of shares. Promoters are holding 49% of shares. Public shareholders are holding 26% of shares. Public shareholders are holding 26% of shares. And Elon Musk is holding 25% of shares. 25% of shares. People, if Indigo Airlines wants to acquire Jet Airways, any major decision that is to be taken by the company, it requires 75% special resolution, right? We will learn this in the company law. Okay. Any major decision that is to be taken by the company will require shareholders approval. So people, if Indigo Airlines wants to acquire SpiceJet, promoters are saying yes, 49%. One second, people. Yes. Promoters are saying yes, 49%. And public shareholders, 16% of public shareholders are saying yes. Okay. 16% of public shareholders are also agreeing with the promoters. So total it is 65%. Total is 65%. Now 10% of people are saying no. 10% public shareholders are saying no. Okay. So 65%, 10%. Now is very, very important. whatever I say, don't you think I will have an impact in the company? Whatever I say, don't you think I will have an impact in the company? If I say yes, then Indigo Airlines will acquire SpiceJet. But if I say no, 25%, 35% are saying no, 65% are saying yes. क्या हो गया? और 1 घंटा लगेगा. हाँ. यस. आपका नंबर बोलना भैया. 9172641031. हाँ. थैंक यू. हाँ. चलेगा चलेगा. ओके. Okay, people. Sorry, people. So don't you think whatever Elon Musk says will have a superior impact? If Elon Musk says yes, company will proceed with the acquisition of SpiceJet. If Elon Musk says no, company will only have 65% vote. It will not have 70% vote. That means company will not proceed with the takeover of SpiceJet, of acquisition of SpiceJet. So people, don't you think Elon Musk had a very, very major impact in the decisions of a company? Yes or no? Yes. And that was only because he had acquired 25% shares in the company, which means substantial portion of shares, which gives him the power to influence the company's decisions. Very simple. Okay. Sure. Next, people, what is the meaning of an acquirer? You know, an acquirer is any person or a group. Person, Reliance or Reliance Group, Jio, everyone that buys shares or gains control of a target company, either directly or through others acting in concert. Reliance, even though it is not acquiring the shares of Indigo Airlines, but through its subsidiary company also, Reliance can acquire the shares of SpiceJet. Still it will be categorized under takeover. Okay. This could mean an individual, Elon Musk, a company called as Tesla, or even a group, Tesla, 3 companies Elon Musk owns. All the companies in which you control, if you acquire directly or indirectly, you will be called as an acquirer. Okay, very simple. Now, what is the meaning of control? Control refers to the power to appoint a majority of directors. You have the power to appoint majority of directors. That means what? If you say these directors should be removed from the company, that company obeys you. That company obeys you. That can only be possible, people, if that company is accustomed to act as per your instructions, or you have acquired a significant portion of shares in the company. Okay. Or to influence the management, like how Elon Musk influenced the decisions of Indigo Airlines and policy decisions of a company. Control can be exercised directly through shareholding or indirectly through agreements or voting rights. That means what? Elon Musk, even without acquiring the shares of Indigo Airlines, it can get into shareholders agreement with the shareholders, saying that whatever vote I will say, you have to vote as per my instructions only. You will not use your own brain. Whatever I say, you have to obey. For that, I'm going to pay you money. I'm not acquiring the shares of a company, but if you hold shares in that company, whatever I say, you have to follow. Still, these type of arrangements, these type of agreements will be called as an acquisition. Okay, people? Sure. Now, what is the meaning of frequently traded shares, people? Shares are considered frequently traded if the volume of shares traded on stock exchange in the last 12 months is at least 10% of the total shares available for that class of stock. I'm 100% sure you have not understood anything. It's absolutely okay. If Reliance has 100 shares listed on stock exchange, then if 10%, that is 10 shares, are frequently traded in the last 12 months, that means what? Reliance is a company whose shares are frequently traded. Very simple. Okay. Next is tendering period. People, tendering period will understand after we complete with the open offer concept. Okay. So I will just mark it as yellow. Tendering period. Offer price also. Offer price is easy. Chalo, let's come over here. The offer price is that price at which acquirer offers to buy the shares from the public during a takeover process. Which means what, people? If Elon Musk has acquired the shares of Twitter, the price at which he has acquired, that price is called as an offer price. Okay. This price is determined by the acquirer and may be revised up to 3 days before the offer starts. So when the offer starts, 3 days you have got time. Before that offer starts, you have to revise your price. Very, very simple. Okay. Next is, what is the meaning of identified date? Identified date. Let's understand this using an example. If shareholders of Flipkart agree to sell their shares in a takeover by Walmart, Walmart will make payments by the identified date. Identified date is that date. Identified date is that date before which you have to pay all your money to the shareholders. Identified date is that date before which HUL has to give or make payment to the shareholders of GSK. Very, very simple. The identified date is the date usually 10 days after the offer period when the acquirer has to make a payment to shareholders for the shares they accepted to sell in the takeover. Very, very simple. Once offer period is done, during the offer period, company will invite bids. Now that the company has invited bids, offer period has been closed. After that, company will start paying money to the selected shareholders who are willing to pay highest price. That's it. Okay. Offer period. The period between the date of entering into an agreement, which means what? If Elon Musk has entered into an agreement with Twitter that we want to acquire the shares of Twitter, whether formal or whether informal via phone call, to acquire the shares or voting rights in or control over target company, requiring a public announcement or the date of the public announcement as the case may be, and the date on which the payment of concession to shareholders who have accepted open offer is made, or the date on which open offer is withdrawn as the case may be, it is called as an offer period. Offer period is that period, people. In that period, company invites the bid. Company will decide that I want to acquire this company. Company will make public announcement that I want to acquire the shares of public shareholders. All these things are carried on between the offer period. Very, very simple. We will understand this in detail. Okay. Next is, what is the meaning of persons acting in concert? What is the meaning of persons acting in concert? We'll understand. People, Elon Musk, either through himself or through the company called as Tesla, or through his friends like Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, or his group companies like X is again a company of Elon Musk. All the companies in which Elon Musk controls, whoever is associated with Elon Musk, everyone will be categorized as a persons acting in concert. We understand the meaning. PAC refers to individuals or group who cooperate with the same goal of acquiring shares or control over a target company, whether they are formally or informally working together. If Elon Musk just calls Mark Zuckerberg that, buddy, I want to acquire the shares of Reliance, even though Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk do not have any association with each other, if they are acting towards a common goal of acquiring Reliance, that means they will be called as an acquirer. Okay, very simple, people. Now, two more definition, people. Two more. Among that, one definition is very, very simple: target company. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of deemed persons acting in concert? Let's understand. Certain individuals or groups are automatically considered persons acting in concert. Now, who are these people? Let's understand. Number one is a company like Flipkart, its holding company Walmart, its subsidiary company Myntra, and any company under the same management or control are called as a persons acting in concert. So holding company, subsidiary company, or any company under the same management or control will be categorized under persons acting in concert. Number 2 is a company, its directors, and any person entrusted with the management of the company. So company, its directors, or any person, everyone who are in the management of the company will also be called as a persons acting in concert. So if I am a director of Reliance, if I don't own any shares of Reliance, still I'll be categorized under persons acting in concert. If I start to purchase the shares of a company, it will be called as Reliance is acting through person acting in concert. Okay, chalo. Next is people, promoter and members of the promoter group. Very simple. Immediate family members or relatives, Nita Ambani, Akash Ambani, Anant Ambani, Anil Ambani, everyone will be called as a persons acting in concert. A mutual fund and its manager, which means what people? Reliance company's mutual fund and their managers who are managing the fund, they will be also called as a persons acting in concert. If Elon Musk is not acquiring the shares, Elon Musk has invested into mutual fund and that mutual fund has acquired the shares, then we both will be called as a persons acting in concert, persons acting towards a common goal. Okay. Next is people, a portfolio manager and clients, which means what? A company called as Zerodha, which manages the portfolio of several investors. If Zerodha is acquiring the shares of any company on my instruction, again Zerodha will be called as a person acting in concert, and we both will be called as persons acting in concert, working towards a common goal of acquiring shares or control in the target company. Very simple. Next is people, a venture capital fund and its sponsor. What is the meaning of venture capital fund? Venture capital fund is that fund that invests into startups or potential companies that will grow exponentially, right? So the one who sets up the fund is called as a sponsor. The one who manages the fund is called as a trustee. And if the person who is managing the fund is a company, it will be called as a trustee company. And the one that selects which startups to choose is called as an asset management company. Very simple. They will be all called as a persons acting in concert. Next is people, an alternate investment fund. Now what is the meaning of alternate investment fund? People by the name itself says alternative ways of investing, like purchasing real estate projects, like purchasing commodities, gold, silver, commercial properties. These are all called as a non-traditional investment strategies. Okay people, so they will all be called, that fund which invest in alternate source of funds is called as an alternate investment fund. The one who sets up, the one who manages, the company and the manager, everyone will be called as a persons acting in concert. So if I invest 100 crores in an alternate investment fund and that fund is acquiring the shares of a company, that means what? I am acting along with my alternate investment fund to acquire a company. We both will be called as a person acting towards a common goal. Very simple. Next people, a merchant banker and his client who is an acquirer. Now what is the meaning of merchant banker people? Merchant banker is the one who helps the company in raising finance. Okay, so merchant banker in time, during a certain period of time, to help the company to raise full amount of money, they may acquire shares. Still they will be called as a persons acting in concert. We'll understand in what scenarios, in what situations merchant banker will not be called as a person acting in concert. Okay, next is a portfolio manager and its client. This is already done people, it is repeated. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 people will be called as deemed to be persons acting in concert. Let's understand this using mind map. Okay, mind map, mind map, mind map. Where is my mind map? Where is my mind map? Yes. So 1, 2, 3 and 4 are very easy. What are those? Number 1 is company, holding, subsidiary. or any company in the same management or control will be called as deemed to be person acting in concert. People, in exam question can be asked, define deemed person acting in concert for 7 marks. You have to give this answer, very simple. Number 2 is immediate relatives, very easy. Number 3 is company director or any person who are entrusted with the management of the company. Director will come under deemed to be person acting in concert. Number 4 is people, very simple, promoters and shareholders of the promoter group. Everyone will be categorized under deemed to be person acting in concert. Okay. Now next is 4 with respect to SEBI. Who are those? Portfolio manager and his clients, SEBI rated. Number 2 is mutual fund and manager, SEBI rated. Next is, we understood, alternate investment fund, also sponsor, trustee company manager. Next we understood merchant banker, also we understood, plus clients. Next is venture capital fund, the one which invests into startups. So everyone will be called as deemed to be persons acting in concert. Okay. Next, acquirer. What is the meaning of acquirer? Any person or a group which buys shares or gains control directly or indirectly along with persons acting in concert in the target company will be called as a acquirer. Next is people, what is the meaning of control? Control means power to appoint majority of directors or to influence the management or the policy decisions of a company will be directly or indirectly will be also called as a control. Okay. Next is, what is the meaning of persons acting in concert? Refers to individuals or groups who cooperate with the same goal of acquiring shares or acquiring control over the target company, whether directly or indirectly. Very simple. Now last definition people, last definition is target company. What is the meaning of target company? Target company is the company that is being acquired. So HUL acquired GSK, which means what? Target company is GSK. And now people, if we are studying takeover code, takeover code is a part of SEBI regulations. Takeover code is a part of SEBI regulations. Now SEBI regulations are applicable to which type of companies? SEBI regulations are only applicable to companies which are listed on stock exchange. Correct people? I have told you what is the meaning of IPO. Company offers shares for the first time on a recognized stock exchange is called as a listed company. Is called as a IPO. Okay. So what I am trying to tell you is the takeover code chapter is only applicable to listed company. Okay. Not to acquirer. Target company should be absolutely a listed company. Target company should be listed on a stock exchange. Then only this takeover code applies. Otherwise, takeover code does not apply because takeover code is part of SEBI regulations now people. Yes. So we covered the definition of target company. We understood the meaning of deemed persons acting in concert. We understood the meaning of persons acting in concert. Then we covered offer period. Then we understood the meaning of identified date, identified price, then frequently traded shares, control, acquirer, substantial acquisition of shares, and takeover. So people, over here we are done with the definition part of the chapter. We are done with the definition part of the chapter. Okay. Now let's come to the types of takeover. Let's come to the type of takeover. People, from here onwards, you're going to have super huge amount of fun. All right. So let's begin with the conceptual part. What are the types of takeover? Sir, we only have understood about the friendly takeover that took place between HUL and GSK. But people, there are how many types of takeover? There are 5 types of takeover. Number 1 is friendly takeover. Both the management are in agreement with each other. Both the management have agreed to receive the money by the acquirer, and the acquirer has agreed to purchase the shares of target company. Everything happen in a consensual, amicable, cool manner. That is called as a friendly takeover. So friendly takeover happens when the target company's management and board of directors agree to the acquisition. Both of them are in agreement. The promoters voluntarily agree to sell. GSK's promoter voluntarily agreed to sell, and both parties are cooperative. Very simple, cool manner acquisition happened. It is called as a friendly takeover. It is called as a friendly takeover. Now, let's come to hostile takeover. Beautiful concept. Hostile takeover happens when the acquirer bypasses the management and directly approaches the shareholders to buy enough shares to gain control despite opposition from the target company's management. The target company does not want to sell their shares. People, the reason why we are studying the takeover code, I will tell you. Number one. Hello? Yes. Imagine a company called as Reliance, which was started by Dhirubhai Ambani. Now it is continued by Mukesh Ambani, right? We all have shares in Reliance, yes or no? Yes. Now why do we have shares in Reliance? Because we trust Mukesh Ambani. Yes or no, people? We trust Mukesh Ambani. Tomorrow, overnight, Anil Ambani and Mukesh Ambani. Anil Ambani and Mukesh Ambani. Anil Ambani. Tomorrow, overnight, if these two people agree to sell their shares, enter into a transaction where Anil Ambani purchases 60% shares of Reliance. Anil Ambani has paid Mukesh Ambani some $10 billion. Let's put a big number, $10 billion. Now overnight, who became a shareholder, people? Who became the person in control? Anil Ambani became the person in control. But people, we all know how Anil Ambani was a person who failed in a lot of business, right, people? Only Mukesh Ambani was able to get the knowledge from his father. Anil Ambani was also able to get the knowledge, but he is called as a failed businessman. Yes or no, people? Now, if you have invested 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 10 lakh rupees in Reliance shares, and overnight when you came to know that all the shares that was held by Mukesh Ambani, now it is held by Anil Ambani. We trust Mukesh Ambani, but we don't trust Anil Ambani. How can these two brothers enter into such a transaction? What about us, right? What is the guarantee that Anil Ambani is going to take the company in the right direction? What is the guarantee that Anil Ambani will keep our money safe? Yes or no, people? Unnecessary panic will be created. So, in this situation, don't you think public shareholders' rights were violated? Don't you think if you had been given an opportunity to sell your shares before Mukesh Ambani sells his shares to Anil Ambani, you would have definitely sold your shares? Yes or no, people? Answer is yes. And that's the reason why, people, we are studying the takeover code. In this chapter, we are going to understand how a company can sell their shares, how a company can acquire the shares of another company without hurting the public shareholders, Such type of agreements should not take place. That's the reason why, people, we are studying the takeover code. That's the reason why, people, we are studying the takeover code. Okay. Now, let's come over here. So, hostile takeover means what, people? Hostile takeover means what? Over here, Anil Ambani has secretly purchased the shares from the public shareholders. Anil Ambani has secretly purchased the shares of public shareholders, and gradually 10%, like that, suddenly he became a shareholder holding 51% shares of Reliance. Don't you think, people, Mukesh Ambani has suffered huge losses? Don't you think Mukesh Ambani has been violated about his rights? So let's again hear this. Acquirer bypasses the manager. Mukesh Ambani says that I don't want to acquire my shares. Still, Anil Ambani directly approaches the public shareholders to buy enough shares to gain control despite opposition from Mukesh Ambani. So this is called as hostile takeover. There is no consent. Directly you are purchasing shares of public shareholders and gradually you have taken over the control of the company. This is called as hostile takeover. To prevent hostile takeover, we are studying SEBI regulations. Right, people? Okay. Next is, what is the meaning of horizontal takeover, people? What is the meaning of horizontal takeover? Okay. We all know Facebook acquiring WhatsApp. Facebook is also into a same business, social media business. WhatsApp is also into a same business, social media business. The reason why Facebook has acquired WhatsApp is because of its encrypted system, right? So both are into same business. Facebook acquiring WhatsApp is called as a horizontal takeover. Both the companies are into the same business. A horizontal takeover occurs when one company acquires another company operating in the same industry, usually to increase the market share and reduce competition. If tomorrow Reliance acquires if Jio acquires Airtel, it's going to be a horizontal takeover. Very simple, people. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of vertical takeover? What is the meaning of vertical takeover? People, Apple, okay, Apple had purchased Beats Electronics. Who was a supplier to Apple for its headphones, right? So Apple's backward chain is distributor, forward chain is supplier. Okay, forward chain is distributor, backward chain is supplier. So if Apple acquires distributor, or if Apple acquires its supplier, it will be called as a vertical takeover. So when Apple had acquired Beats Electronics, that means it's a vertical takeover. Yes, people. So vertical takeover involves a company acquiring another company that is a part of its supply chain, either a supplier, backward integration, or a distributor or a customer, that is forward integration. That is called as, people, vertical takeover. That is called as vertical takeover. Very simple. And next is, people, conglomerate takeover. What is the meaning of conglomerate? Acquirer and target company both are in different industry. Acquirer and target company both are into different industry. It is called as a conglomerate takeover. And a conglomerate takeover happens when a company acquires another company operating in a completely different industry, usually for diversification. If tomorrow Reliance acquires Indigo Airlines, both are into different business, it will be called as a conglomerate takeover. So, people, 5 types of takeover we understood till now. Number 1 is friendly takeover. Number 2 is hostile takeover. Number 3 is horizontal takeover. Number 4 is vertical takeover. Number 5 is conglomerate takeover. Okay, amazing. Okay. So, people, our goal today is we should be done with till here is our goal. Let's see if we have time, we'll start with this, otherwise we'll end over here itself. Okay, people, so we will try to divide these lectures into 3 series, 3 videos. Okay, number 1 is till here we complete. Tomorrow's lecture will complete till here, and third day will complete over here, and then revision past year's question paper, expected question. That's it. Simple. Yes, people? Sure. Now, let's begin with the rules and regulations. If a company is acquiring substantial portion of shares in its target company, what are the rules it has to follow? We are going to understand one of the most beautiful concepts you will ever come across. Okay? Chalo. Let's start. Okay. Yes, people. So when is open offer required? Now, just now we understood, people, if Anil Ambani and Mukesh Ambani overnight they get into an agreement where Mukesh Ambani will sell all his shares to Anil Ambani, and overnight Anil Ambani will become the owner of Reliance. Don't you think public shareholders' rights are violated? They have not given opportunity to sell their shares. Yes or no, people? Yes. To prevent such things from happening, SEBI has made this amazing rule so that public shareholder will also be benefited in this transaction. Yes or no, people? Okay, let's get started. When an acquirer along with person acting in concert, Elon Musk along with his companies called as Tesla, SpaceX, acquires shares and their holding reaches or exceeds 25% of the voting rights in a target company. Till here we'll understand. Elon Musk acquiring 10%. Does it matter, people? Doesn't matter at all. Elon Musk acquiring 20%. Does it matter? Not yet. Elon Musk acquiring 24%. Still not a problem at all. You can purchase, you can do whatever you want. The moment you touch 25% or more, the moment you get into an agreement with the target company, that will entitle you to get shares worth 25% or more of the target company, which will give you the power to significantly influence the company's policy or decision. Then you have to give an opportunity to the public shareholders first to ask them, do you want to sell your shares to me, because I am soon going to have a significant influence in this company. If you don't believe in my management, if you don't believe in my leadership, right now sell your shares at this price. If you don't sell your shares, I will be taking over this company. If you believe, you stay. If you don't believe, you exit. But I have to give them an exit opportunity, and that exit opportunity is called as an open offer. Okay, we're going to understand again this. Don't worry, people. They must make a public announcement of an open offer. That means we are going to take over, we are going to acquire this company that is going to give us the power to significantly influence the decisions. If you want to sell your shares, immediately do it right away. The acquirer must offer to buy at least 26% of total shares. This is beautiful. Let's understand this using mind map. Yes. So people, okay. Yes, people. So let's say, take an example of Twitter. Okay. So Elon Musk initially was holding 0 shares. Twitter was owned by the founders, 60 shareholders. 60 shares were with the founders, remaining 40 shares were with the public shareholders. So Twitter had 100 shares, 60 shares was there with the founders, remaining 40 shares was there with the public shareholder. Elon Musk was holding 0 shares. Till here, it is not a problem at all. Okay. Next, let's come over here. Now, Elon Musk had acquired 10 shares. 10 shares. Founders are now holding 50 shares. From 60 shares to 50 shares, founders are holding. Public shareholders are holding 40 shares. Not a problem at all. Okay. The moment Elon Musk acquires 24 shares. Okay. So let's calculate, people. 1 second. Okay. 16 shares are held by the founder. Remaining 76 shares are held by the public. Not a problem at all. Okay. We are only focused on Elon Musk shareholding. Only focus on Elon Musk shareholding. 24 shares, not a problem at all. But the moment Elon Musk acquires 25 shares or more, the moment Elon Musk acquires 25 shares or more, he has to give an open offer. Let's assume for a second this public is holding how many shares? 1 second, people. 100 minus 25. Founders are holding 35 shares. Public is holding 75 shares. Okay. The moment Elon Musk acquires 25% or more shares, he has to give an opportunity to the public to purchase additional 26 shares, which means what? Elon Musk will tell openly that I want to purchase 26 shares. I want to purchase additional 26 shares. So whoever want to sell their shares to me, please sell your shares to me. I will pay you this price. If you are willing to sell it to me. If you are not willing to sell, stay where you were. Okay. So the moment Elon Musk acquires 25% or more shares, he has to give an open offer to the public to purchase additional 26% of shares of the company. I'm saying additional, not making him a shareholder of 26% shares. No. The moment he has acquires 25 shares, he has to make an open offer to purchase additional 26 shares in a company. Moment he has acquired 25% or more shares in a company, he has to give an open offer to purchase additional 26% of shares of the company. So if he makes an open offer to purchase additional 26 shares, whoever wants to sell, they will sell. Whoever doesn't want to sell, they will not sell. But Elon Musk's duty is to make an open offer to purchase additional 26% shares of the company. That's it. And then only he can proceed with additional acquisition. Otherwise, no. Right, people? Which means what? The reason why this rule has been made is because Elon Musk is saying publicly that I am going to acquire the shares of this company, which is going to give me a significant influence, significant power to influence your decisions. So, if you do not believe in my leadership, sell your shares. If you do believe in my leadership, stay as a shareholder. That's it. But Elon Musk has to give an open offer to purchase additional 26% shares of the company. And that additional 26% shares should include all public shareholders. All public shareholders. If only 10% public shareholders have decided to sell their shares, they can sell their shares, then Elon Musk will proceed with this ordinary acquisition. He will proceed with the 25%. Yes or no, people? Now let's again read the rule. When an acquirer along with a person acting in concert acquires shares and their holding exceeds 25%, Elon Musk holding exceeds 25%, they must make a open announcement. They must make a public announcement of an open offer that we are going to acquire additional 26% shares. Those who want to sell their shares, they can sell it to me. The acquirer must offer to buy at least 26% of additional shares in the company. That's it, people. This is the rule that I was talking about. Beautiful rule. Yes or no, people? Yes or no? Now, what is an open offer? An acquirer must give public shareholders a chance to sell their shares at a specified price. Okay. The open offer must cover not 5%, 6%, but additional 26% of the total shares of the company. Which means what? Do you think, people? Do you think Elon Musk will then proceed forward with the open offer? No. Okay. Simple, people. Simple. If I have reached 25% limit, if I have reached 24%, I just want to acquire additional 2%. I just want to acquire additional 2%. But does the law allows me to proceed further? No. The moment I step in to 25% threshold, I cannot acquire additional 2%. I have to now make an open offer to acquire additional 26% of shares. Do you think I will proceed forward? No. And that's the reason why, people, this law has been made. And that's the reason why this law has been made. If you proceed 2 steps further, you have to go 26 steps. You might have to go 26 steps further. So you decide whether to take this 2 steps further or stay where you are. This is the reason why this rule has been made. Simple. The moment you have taken 24 steps, okay, no problem. The moment you take additional 1 step, you might have to take additional 26 steps. So if you don't want to take these additional 26 steps, you don't proceed forward at all. That's the reason why, people, this rule has been made. To stop takeover in an hostile manner. To stop takeover in an hostile manner. Very simple, people. Yes or no? If you really believe in the company, then what's the problem in acquiring additional 26% shares? You should not have any problem, right? But just because you want to exploit the company, you are gradually acquiring the company. You cannot do that. If you really believe in the company, if you are really committed to the company, you should be ready to purchase additional 26% shares. Yes or no, people? And that commitment is why this rule has been made. Yes or no, people? Yes. Now, people, it is not necessary that if I make additional 26% shares, if I make an open offer to acquire additional 26% shares, everyone will sell their shares. No. 5%, 6%, 10% can also be a possibility. 5% people are only willing to sell their shares. Remaining people want to stay in the company. It can also happen, people. But all the 26% people are willing to sell their shares. It can also happen. Yes or no? So anything can happen, but on the part of an acquirer, you have to make additional open offer to acquire additional 26% of shares in the target company. That's it, people. That's it. Okay. Chalo, let's proceed. How it works? If the acquirer holding crosses 25% threshold, an open offer is triggered. Now you have to make an open offer. The open offer must be announced before completing transaction. The moment you take 1 step further, you have to give an open offer. The open offer must be for 26% of the total share capital of the company, not just public shareholding. Which means, what, people? There are only 10 public shareholders. You want to acquire 2.6%. That means 26% of public shareholder. No. I'm not saying that. 26% of not public shareholder. 26% of the entire company's open offer you have to make. Yes or no, people? Yes. Now, important clarification. The 26% is based on the total shares, not just public shareholder. We know all public shareholder must be included in the open offer. Okay. Timeline. Acquisition decision crossing 25%, open offer obligation is triggered. public announcement of open offer. Open offer made for at least how many percent of shares, people? 26% of total shares at a specified price. Very simple. Now, reason why this has been made. Crossing 25% voting rights implies significant influence or control. It ensures the minority, it ensures protection for minority shareholders by giving them an exit option. Tomorrow, if I don't trust in Anil Ambani's leadership, I should be given an opportunity to sell my shares. Yes or no? You bring whoever you want, but please give me an exit option. I will leave this company, but you have to give me an exit opportunity. I cannot let you just I cannot let you bring Anil Ambani and take over the company and just make blunder with the company. I will not allow that. No. If you want to enter into blunders, you first give me an exit option to leave this company. That's the sole purpose why this rule has been made. Yes or no, people? Okay. Purpose is to protect minority shareholders, to give them a fair opportunity to exit if substantial control changes. Okay. Trigger point: when an acquirer crosses 25% voting rights, they must make an open offer for an additional 26% of total shares. We know this. Okay. Now, post offer shareholding. Now, people, that depends on what percentage of public shareholders are selling their shares. Yes or no, people? So this cannot be determined. Only thing you have to remember is, people, the moment an acquirer crosses 24%, is the open offer triggered? No. The moment acquirer crosses 24.99%, is the open offer triggered? No. The moment acquirer crosses 25%, over there, you cannot step further. You have to make an open offer to purchase additional 26% of shares. Whoever are willing to sell their shares, they will sell your shares, they will sell their shares to you. Otherwise, they stay invested. Then only you can proceed with your acquisition further. The moment you cross 25%, you have to make an open offer. After that only you can proceed with the additional steps. Cool, people? Very, very simple. Yes or no? Perfect. So we are done with the requirement of open offer for the first time. Yes or no, people? Very simple rule. If I want to tell you this rule in 3 to 4 lines, the moment an acquirer crosses 25% or more shareholding in a target company, he has to make an open offer. Open offer for how much? Open offer to acquire additional 26% of shares of the target company. Simple. This is the crux of the whatever I have told you in the last 15 minutes. Yes or no, people? Cool? Chalo. Now, people, once you have acquired 25% shares, okay. Now, people, once you have acquired 30% shares, okay, first initially you try to acquire 24% shares. This is Elon Musk. This is Twitter. Elon Musk acquired 24%, no problem. Elon Musk acquires 24.99%, no problem. No problem. The moment Elon Musk acquires 25% shares, he has to give an open offer. Open offer to purchase additional 26% shares of the company. Okay. Now he has made an open offer. Only 5% of the people sold their shares. Only 5% people sold their shares. So 25% plus 5%. Once he gave an open offer, only 5% people sold their shares. So Elon Musk is now holding 30% of shares after he has made an open offer for the first time. Okay. Now Elon Musk is acquiring 1% more, 31%. No problem. No problem. He acquires 1% again, 32%. No problem. This time he had acquired 2%. 34%. Again, not a problem at all. But the moment he acquires 1% or more, that means he acquires 5% or more in not several years, in a single financial year. If Elon Musk acquires more than 5% in a single financial year, if he acquires more than 5% after he has made an open offer, now again he has to make an open offer. Again he has to make an open offer. Let's read this rule. After crossing 25%, if the acquirer acquires more than 5% additional shares in the same financial year, they must make a fresh open offer. For how much? Again, to acquire at least 26% of total shares. So, number one, the moment he has acquired 24.99 shares, not a problem at all. The moment he acquires 25% or more, he has to make an open offer to purchase additional 26% shares of the company. Whoever wants to sell their shares, they can sell their shares. Now only 5% people sold their shares. Now he is holding 30%. Now, or he is holding 40%, 50%, doesn't matter at all. So once he has made an open offer, he is holding more than 25% shares in the company. Now, if you acquire 1%, not a problem. 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%, not a problem at all. The moment you acquire more than 5% in a single financial year, again you have to make an open offer to acquire additional 26% shares of the company. Very simple, people. Okay. Now let's assume Elon Musk is holding 40 shares. 30 is held by the founder, 30 are held by the public shareholder. Okay. That means 40% shares. The moment he acquires one share, that means 41, not a problem. The moment he acquires another one share, 42, not a problem. Again he acquires one share, 43, not a problem. Now he acquires one share from here, 44, not a problem. He again acquires one share, 45, not a problem, 5%. Now the moment he acquires more than 5%, he has to make an open offer to purchase additional 26 shares of the company, and that 26% shares should include all the public shareholder. If public shareholder are not willing to sell, then promoters can sell. So this is what this rule means. Again, people, to prevent acquisition, and this acquiring 1%, 1%, 1% less than 5% is called as a creeping acquisition. It's called as an creeping acquisition. Very simple, people. I hope you are having super huge amount of fun, people. We are understanding law using logic. Yes or no, people? Let's again read this rule. After crossing 25%, if the acquirer acquires more than 5% additional shares in the exact same financial year, they must make a fresh open offer for at least 26% shares of the total shares. That's it, people. That's it. Until now, people, we have not gone in depth. Until now, we have covered definition. We have covered basic two rules. Number one is the moment an acquirer acquires 25% or more, he has to give an open offer to acquire additional 20% shares from the public shareholder, that is through open offer. Now that the Elon Musk has acquired 25% shares, now if he wants to acquire additional shares, 1 share, 2 share, 3 share, 4 share, 5 shares are allowed in a financial year. The moment you acquire more than 5 shares in one financial year, you have to give again an open offer to purchase additional 26% shares of the company. That's it, people. That's it. Okay, super easy. Yes or no, people? Super easy. So people, what we'll do is we'll end this session over here. It might be too heavy for you, but don't worry, people. The time I have taken is only to go in depth so you never forget at all. Okay, once you go through my notes again, it's going to be an easy cakewalk for all of you guys, right, people? So now I'll tell you one thing, people. These are the mind maps that I have prepared for this chapter. Okay, so this mind map is of how many pages? I guess 28, 30 pages are there, people. Mind map. Every single thing is there in this. Okay, this is for quick revision purpose. Your efficiency will improve by 10 times. Okay, now let's come to open offer. Now what is open offer? Let's come over here. An acquirer along with persons acting in concert, if he acquires 25% or more in the target company, he has to make a public announcement of open offer offering to buy at least 26% of shares in the target company. Very simple. See, people, in this mind map itself, you are able to understand the rules and regulation. Yes or no? Okay. Number 2, requirement of open offer additional. Acquirer again acquires 5% or more in the same financial year in target company. Already crossed 25%. Acquirer has already crossed 25%. Now he is crossing more than 5% in a financial year. Now he has to make again a public announcement offering to buy at least 26% shares in the target company. That's it, people. So until here, people, will end the session. Okay, so if you have got any doubts with respect to any concept, people, please make sure to drop all your doubts in the comment section as detailed as possible. Doubts doesn't matter. It can be an intellectual doubt, it can be a non-intellectual doubt. For me, every single doubt of my student is the same. Okay, so if you have got any thoughts about any concept, any topic, if you want to say anything about anything, people, that we have studied till now, you are free. Okay, again I will tell, you are free to talk out your thoughts in the comment section. Okay, there is no restriction. Cool, people. So thank you so much for watching, people. I hope you enjoyed this session. All right, so thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Eat well, sleep well, study well. Take care. Bye bye.